Today we are going to discuss another poem from First Flight book, Amanda by Robin Klein. Robin Klein is an Australian author of books for children. She was born on 28 February 1936 in New South Wales. Before becoming an established writer, she worked in a number of jobs. She had her first short story published at the age of 16. In the year 1981, she was awarded a Literature Board grant for writing, and since then, she has had more than 20 books published. Theme of the poem, Amanda, is teenage and the freedom sought by children in that age. Parents expect teenagers to behave in a certain way, but teenagers do not like the constant nagging, unwanted instructions, and overprotection of their parents. Any kind of instruction or interference curtails their freedom. Amanda is also a teenager who wants to postpone growing up, and she often escapes in a world of fantasies to avoid her mother's constant nagging. Introduction. The greatest wealth that a child wants to possess is his/her freedom, and a thing that he or she never likes is the constant nagging. The poem is about a teenager, Amanda. Like all teenagers, Amanda loves freedom. She wants to lead her own kind of life. She doesn't want her parents to control and guide her activities, and she doesn't want to be dictated by her mother, and to avoid her constant nagging, she often slips into a world of fantasy which she has created. This world is an imaginary world of fairies and mermaids, far from the harsh realities of the world, and she finds solace in that world as she can do things of her choice. By portraying the picture of Amanda, Robin Klein wishes to convey that extreme parental restriction doesn't allow children to blossom fully and freely. Now, explanation of the poem. Look at first stanza. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. In these lines, the speaker is Amanda's mother. She doesn't like the way Amanda bites her nails, so she asks her not to do so. Nor does she want that Amanda should haunch her shoulders down. She wants Amanda to sit straight. Amanda seems to be drooping her body towards one side, so her mother wants her to adopt a right posture and sit up straight. Now, next stanza. There is a languid emerald sea, where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. Here the speaker is Amanda. She doesn't like the way her mother nags her, so to avoid this, she escapes in her dreamy world, and she imagines herself in a quiet emerald sea. There is no one there except her, and she moves in that emerald island freely and blissfully like a mermaid. Now, third stanza. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. Now, when Amanda is lost in her dreamy world, again her mother's voice reaches her ear. Her mother asks her if she has finished her homework. She asks her if she has made her room tidy or not. And she reminds her that she had told her to clean her shoes, but Amanda has not done that yet. Now, fourth stanza. I'm an orphan, roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. Amanda doesn't want to be instructed at every step. She wants to lead her own kind of life. And when her mother scolds her, she again transfers into her fantasy world, and there she imagines herself as an orphan who roams in the street, freely making different patterns on the soft dust with her bare feet. This experience of roaming free and doing things as she likes is golden and sweet for her. Now, next stanza. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda? Will you please look at me when I'm speaking to you, Amanda? Here, in these lines, the speaker is Amanda's mother, and she instructs her not to eat chocolates. The speaker reminds her of her acne, and eating chocolates can create problem for her. Amanda doesn't bother what her mother is saying, nor does she look at her mother when she is giving her instructions. Her mother expects her to look towards her when she is speaking. Now, next stanza. I'm Rapunzel. I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. Here in these lines, the speaker is Amanda. She doesn't care a bit what her mother says, and she transfers in her dreamy world again. She imagines herself as Rapunzel living in a lonely tower, and in that tower, life is free from all cares. It is rare peace and tranquility that prevails in the tower. And Amanda is proud of her beautiful hair like Rapunzel, and she says that she will certainly never let down her bright hair like Rapunzel. Now, last stanza. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You are always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. These lines are spoken by Amanda's mother. Her mother asks her not to look unhappy and sad. Amanda should look a little more cheerful. Amanda has been very moody and of unstable nature, and her mother asks her again to look cheerful, otherwise, people will blame her mother of nagging and troubling her continuously. Rhyme scheme. In the poem, the poet has used two rhyme schemes. The stanzas spoken by Amanda's mother follow the rhyme scheme A, and the stanzas spoken by Amanda consist of three rhyming lines each. With this, the poet has also used poetic devices. He has used metaphor in the second, fourth, and sixth stanzas as Amanda compares herself with a mermaid, with an orphan in the street, and finally with Rapunzel. Second, the poet has used repetition. It has been used in stanza 1, 3, 5, and 7 as Amanda's name has been repeated. Next is alliteration. This poetic device is used in the following lines of the poem. Stop that slouching and sit up straight. Here you see that initial sound S is repeating. Second is life in a tower is tranquil and rare. Here the initial sound T is repeated.